Okie dokie artichoke. Ladies, that was quite the performance, first off. Saw you guys both on the back immediately. And let me get your initial impressions. It was 24 hours ago. Evie, how do you feel 24 hours later looking back at that?
I think we're like 48 hours now, right?
48 hours. It feels like 24. I haven't slept since.
No, same. I probably had like 8 hours total sleep in the past 2 days.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, of course it was, because he has 7 LD. I swear to God, every day is like blending into the same. And people are like, well, that's Thursday. I go, what's Thursday? I know 93s. I know 83s. I know 63s. Don't tell me the days of the week at this point.
Yeah, I think it's helpful that they've got like, you know, like one woman's weight class, one men's weight class a day, because that's the only way that I can keep track of what's happening.
This isn't real life.
Like, okay, we saw 74s and 57s last night, so we must be getting on to the 83s. That's right.
That's right. Today. That's the only way I can keep pace. And when we're at 120s, I know we're almost over. It's 120 pluses and 84 pluses.
What are days of the week? It's just, this is the day that the 83s and the 63s compete.
This is La La Land when we're out here. Okay, 48 hours removed. It's dramatic. We'll go through the day and talk about it. But now that you've had some time, 48 hours, I know when I talked to you, initially, I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. When I talked to both of you guys, I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. And you were like, I'm sure it was great viewing, Ryan. It was stressful as hell. And I understand, like, you're like, that was tough. For sure, it was tough, right? But now that you've had time, a couple days to think about it, how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I mean, still much the same. I think I'm still processing it. My brain is still like running over the day and thinking like, is that what happened? And I'm happy with the outcome for sure, but not entirely happy with the performance itself, if that makes sense.
It does, but here's something I told Joshua Wright, who, I'm not sure if you guys seen the 74s yesterday. Okay. So Joshua Wright, I saw him in the back, and he's the first German, and this is hosted in Germany, to win a medal. And he was like, man, didn't exactly hit the numbers I wanted to hit. I'm like, Joshua, in 10 years, all these numbers are going to be garbage. All anyone's going to remember is the entire room was on their feet, and all these Germans, like your native people, like yelling, cheering, and you won them a medal, the first medal, and everyone's celebrating, and you're on the podium with everyone else. And soon enough, the numbers won't matter, right? If you look at it that way.
Absolutely. Like, I think the further away you get from having competed, the more that you can kind of see it with a more level head, and like you can appreciate the good parts of what you achieved, and sort of the initial sting of failing lifts slowly fades away.
That's fair. Like for instance, when you hit your final deadlift, I don't even know. I mean, I could look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head what the number was. And this is 2 days later, but I'll never forget seeing you come out knowing what it meant. I'll never forget watching you walk up to the bar, and I'll never forget that war cry you let off when you hit it. And the excitement of, oh my God, like everybody went nuts. We hadn't seen a battle like this. And you knew once you hit that. If you didn't hit that, it'd be the same old shit we see in the 52s, right? No offense. You're like, what the fuck does that mean?
I like that shit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the shit I like to serve. But when you hit that, you knew a special moment is about to happen. It's already happened. And it'll force another special moment. You know, like one moment forces the other. And I'll never forget that. So that's why, 10 years from now, like I said, like, man, the way powerlifting works, 6 months from now, these numbers aren't going to stand the test of time, but the moments will. But anyway, same question for yourself. 48 hours later, how have you digested it?
I'm quite analytical. I remove a lot of emotion from it. So I really looked at all my lifts. I'm satisfied, but it is what I expected. I expected to be minimum second. I would have been extremely disappointed if I didn't. I expected to be closing the gap, but and maybe first, but it was a small percentage like that I would actually win. I'm happy that I was ahead for 30 seconds. That's the first time ever since I've started lifting where I have sat ahead of Evie. And it's just like a small moment, but it's like we're finally nearly equal. So it's important to me. Yeah, I'm happy with my squats. I would have preferred to actually get the world record just for a second. Plon obviously deserves that. And then I've got to learn something like how to grind through my squats. Something's happened there. But bench, happy, and then deadlifts. That's the most emotional I've been with deadlifts. They used to be a real issue for me. I used to miss opener deadlifts consistently. I was actually like falling off the podium at previous worlds because of missing opener deadlifts. So this is really special for me now, walking out and being really calm. But overall, I feel satisfied with the day, but already looking at World Games, it was what I expected.
Looking at this, like I totally get what you mean. Like, hey, look, you are progressing, and the gap is narrowed to a point where, yeah, for 30 seconds, like you forced Evie to come from behind. In sports, you know, I said this quote before, but it's true. Michael Jordan said one time, it's easy to talk shit when it's the fourth quarter and you're ahead. That's not brave. Try talking shit when it's the fourth quarter and you're behind. That's a whole nother ball game. And you doing what you did and showing your progress and the resolve when it came down to, and there was tension when you came down to that last deadlift. And we'll walk through the day. I don't want to take up too much on the deadlifts, but there was tension when you came out, and you could have easily not hit that. So you being proud to have forced the issue and be like, no, Evie's going to have to come out this time.
Yeah, it felt really special. A goal of mine, weirdly, has been to make Evie do all 9 lifts. I was like, she's just so far ahead all these other years. So it feels special to actually have to make her pull her third, even if it wasn't her absolute limit. She actually just had to pull it. And it was like, she has to execute, which is nice.
You forced me out there.
Yeah. Evie's like, God damn it.
But it's funny to hear your perspective on it, because I don't usually pay attention to the rankings during the day. But I had it in my head that I was sitting in second.
Oh.
Really throughout the day?
Yeah. Because I think after squats, I was feeling like a real lack of confidence. And I, to be honest, coming into this competition, I knew it was going to be a fight. I knew Megan was much closer. And I was working on accepting the possibility that I might not win, that I might be second this time. Because I felt that would be good for me to not, like nothing is ever a given, right? Like you shouldn't assume. And also like it's good for me mentally to prepare for different possibilities. So yeah, I'd kind of convinced myself that I was coming second. And so yeah, it's funny that I guess you actually knew what was going on.
Only for the last deadlift though. The rest of the day, I didn't want to know the numbers. I didn't know what you were doing. It was only at the last minute where I looked up at the screen and I was like, oh, okay. I think if I pull this, I will be ahead. Just for a moment. It's a nice feeling.
You didn't know either?
No, this is the first comp ever where I've said to my coach, I don't actually want to know what's happening. I think I obsess a little bit too much during the day usually and go, oh, what's everyone else hitting? So I didn't know what medals I'd got until I walked off the platform in terms of individual, and then placing overall, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what Evie's total was. I did ask James after my first deadlift if I was secured in second, and he was like, yeah. So then I could breathe, but only about 10 seconds before I went out for my final deadlift did I realize, oh, this is actually for a shot at first, which is exactly what I wanted, is just that shot. I've never been close enough to go for, like in 2022, I was 5th. I pulled for second, but the jury overruled it, and that was fair. So I ended up 5th, and then in 2023 in Malta, I was 3rd, but the gap between Naomi and myself was too big. Like, I didn't even pull for second. The same last year, I didn't pull for first. I pulled to defend second. This year, it was the first time where I was pulling to be ahead. So, yeah, it was a good feeling.
I mean, that's progress.
Not only for sure as an athlete, but viewing wise, it was so much better to have a battle and to have that kind of pressure applied. I know it's tough on like probably for both of you for a second there, but it was so good. And to the point of, and we'll go through today, I promise, but to the point of that Michael Jordan quote and him saying how difficult it is. Some people go a long time without getting tested. And you got tested. And I was telling you backstage when I was doing the interview for the IPF, actually, and I was saying how other performances might have been more dominant. You don't have to come out for your last pull. Even if another performance had bigger numbers, I promise you it's this one people are going to remember. And it's this one that when people ask you, like, how good of a powerlifter you are as an athlete, like, can you stand if you get tested with adversity? All of these questions you ask of somebody, if you're going to take inspiration from people, it's they're back to the wall. How do you respond? As opposed to walk in, got it easy, didn't have to come out for my last lift. Or like, well, I'm sure you worked hard, but it's not as inspiring and gut check moment. And for both you ladies, for you to come out there was pressure on your there was crazy pressure on your final pull, because we were as a fan looking at it like she needs to hit this to force something special. If you don't hit this, it's here we go again. Evie won't even come out, and it's like it's all on you. And then to set it up, and then once you do your job, now you have to do your job. And even though you've hit that before, not like this. And I see it all the time at IPF Worlds. People have hit a certain number before and not hit it. That happens all of the time. I mean, proof and point, correct me if I'm wrong, Turbo Tiff needed 172.5. Now, she's failed that several times in a row, but I believe she's hit that before as well.
She's hit 177 in training recently.
Yeah,
so
she
I thought,
hit it in training.
After the 170, I actually thought, yeah, she's good for 172.5. I thought, why didn't she load 175 to push Heather to 215? But actually, they were right.
Ramsey, can you fact check me and pull up Open Powerlifting? You're the young Jamie now too. Sorry, dude. And check if Turbo Tiff has hit 172.5 in comp, because I want to say she's hit it in comp, and it just belabors the point that even though you've hit it before in comp, there's no guarantee. So you got tested.
Yeah, it's the mental resolve, right? Because a number can be something that you've pulled before, but trying to like keep your head cool enough to, execute the lift well, that's not easy under pressure.
She hit it at Sheffield 2023, 172.5 on her second attempt, and at the Arnold Sports Festival 2022, both weighing under 47 kilos in competition.
So this is a number she's hit a couple of times before, and when she needed it, and the way 170 moved, and she's coming out, it's all down to something you've already hit, and this is Turbo Tiff. It's not for granted. That pressure you applied and you coming out, it means something. It definitely means something. And now that you've had 48 hours, let me ask you this, and then we'll walk through the day, I promise. But how does this rank compared to all your other Worlds wins and moments?
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm like most proud of from this performance is the mental gains, because in a previous year, like earlier on in my competition journey, I might not have been able to manage that. Like I might have let that pressure get to me and like failed that last deadlift. And so or even to be honest, like after squats, I wanted to walk out. I was like so disappointed. I was like, maybe I'll just leave. Maybe I'll just take a year off powerlifting. Like, I don't know.
You walk out the arena,
like,
we see you a year later to looking like a total different woman.
Yeah, just go and eat some currywurst and have a beer. Like, I'm done. But I managed to snap myself out of it and pull myself back into a competition mindset. And that's the thing I'm most proud of. Like, yeah, the numbers on the day weren't what I wanted, but being able to achieve that is really meaningful for me because that hasn't always been the case.
How about yourself? Do you feel like, where does this rank, this performance, compared to your other performances?
Well, I won a junior world title, so that was probably special. Oh, no, actually, this is more special. The junior world title came quite comfortably. It was not hard work. This feels a lot more special. Last year feels very special because I've had to claw my way up the rankings. Yeah, it feels a little bit different in terms of last year was my first time second, so that was probably a little bit more special. But then I still think that this one, looking at the actual numbers, you know, not the placing, but the actual numbers, I'm like, this is my best performance. This is probably as good as I could have been, like nearly 100% strength. So I'm satisfied. And then I think mentally that was a huge improvement. So I think I could be happy with that. And it means a lot. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll tell you right now, my opinion, there is a lot of, like, a junior world champion and a junior world title is great, but there's junior world champions every year and they jump into the open and some of them do or do not make a splash. But what you did is far more impressive to me. What you just did 2 days ago is far more impressive than any junior world. I can't picture too many, like, even comparing them. If some junior said, hey, I just won a world title, great. And, like, how does that compare to what Megan just achieved? I'd be like, it doesn't.
Yeah, that was, I've spoken to my coach about that a lot, actually, is that there are some really successful juniors when we were juniors. They don't even exist in the sport anymore. This is so much harder. Like, third place or fifth in the Opens actually means a lot more. Mm-hmm. We actually have to work to get here. Juniors, they work a lot, but it's like a different step up. So I think it means a lot more. Yeah.
A whole nother ballgame. All right. Let's talk about the competition in and of itself coming into it. Evie, how are you feeling? Forever the conversation will semi-rotate around the weight cut and the ability to make weight. I remember speaking to you previously. You said it was comfortable. Actually, it was getting easier. I don't know if that's still the trend, but here we are. You've been here longer than some people maybe might have expected. How was it for you?
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect to still be competing as a 52 when we first dropped down. The weight cut was fine, to be honest. This time around, we decided that I would cut from a bit heavier, actually. So I did a bigger cut than I have previously. But I made weight like 10:30 and our weigh-in was 2. So made weight pretty early, rehydrated early. But yeah, my strength was really good during our prep, and I was really happy with the numbers that I hit. I was like, yeah, cool, this is going to be great. But it just didn't seem to carry through to the day. And like that we've yet to sort of really review it, but that might be to do with the weight cut, or we're just getting to the point now where I just can't really sustain being 52. Like, even if I'm doing well in the gym, I just can't seem to carry it over to the platform. So.
Well, that might be a stitch harsh things how you're the world champ. But I mean, I would loathe the beating yourself up about it. I don't deserve, I got to move a weight class. But yeah, I mean, and plus, honestly, there's so much that goes into it. Like, you just 1% down. And so that could be a bad sleep, the travel, or a slight bit of a time zone change. 1% down, you throw that onto your total, it's huge, and you will overanalyze. Do we change the diet? Do we change the program? Change nothing. Eventually, this is going to happen. If you did this 365 days in a row of the year, you're going to have a couple samples like this where it's just a stitch down. I would say don't overanalyze because you still did pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I guess like for me, it feels like a bit more of a trend because coming off of Sheffield, where I also, in my opinion, underperformed, like didn't hit the numbers that I felt that I was capable of. Like, my strength on the day just wasn't really there. And at that point, we also were like, oh, well, maybe I was too light. Like, I didn't cut enough weight. Maybe I should train heavier. So we tried that. But I guess, like, for me, I know that my progress has slowed. in the 52s, and I'm at that point now where, you know, I want to get stronger. I don't want to be relying on just hitting these same numbers at each comp. Like, yeah, it's still a good total, but I want to put more on the total.
So you feel like you might be turning into a sitting target as opposed to a moving target?
For sure. I mean, I totaled 480 this time, and last year I totaled 477.5, I think, something like that. And like my total at Sheffield last year was like 481. I'm really bad at remembering numbers, but you know, they're all around the same. They're all around the same place. So, you know, we're more than a year on, and I haven't added anything there.
But would you wait and keep defending until you get pushed out, pass the baton on the platform? Because who knows when that comes necessarily? Or do you be like, you know what? Sooner or later, I'm going to make this decision regardless and just be like, I'm going up.
Well, I guess like I think World Games will sort of be the decider, but I'm definitely leaning towards saying like my time is up in the 52s. I mean, I have to do World Games as a 52 because I qualified as a 52 last year. So there will be one more performance, and maybe if that goes spectacularly well, I don't expect it to, but we'll see what happens.
And how do you feel? Because usually competitors like the passing of the baton. Like obviously, like Joey B wanted a passing baton moment from Russ. Didn't get it. He's okay with it. It is what it is. Same thing. Russ moved up the weight class. That's fine. But the athlete, it just has that lineage, right? How do you feel if Evie leaves before any passing a baton moment?
Yeah, that would not feel the same. The only way I could feel semi-satisfied would be if I total more than her, like her world record, even half a kilo. But I would prefer, if I am going to one day win, that it's actually head-to-head, so that I don't have doubts within myself that I wouldn't have been able to do it if she was still in the class. I need it there. And she pushes me. She has made it possible. You know, she made 460 possible. Before that, we all used to total like 420 to get on the podium. And then she made 460 possible. I mean, Naomi had done 445 at that point, but not on the international stage. So then once Evie hit 460, it was like, oh, we can all start going up. And obviously, she's pushed it higher and higher and higher. So I would not feel like a true champion if I didn't beat her at Worlds in the future.
Mm-hmm. And this is entirely normal by both of you. This is what the common theme I see is the person chasing the champ. For sure, it's like, no, I need to beat the champ in game. That's how usually how the lineage passes. But on the flip side, the person who is the champ but feels like the numbers are getting a little stagnant is like, I respect that, but for me, I'm not going to stick around for that. I need to progress or else I'm getting stagnant. Both of you guys, it's
you can see the writing on the wall. You're like, Mom, I'm gonna leave before I get pushed out.
That's right. You could have it. I'm not. Yeah. Fair enough. When you guys came into this, how was it at the weigh-ins? How was it in the warm-up room? There's so many. The level of talent in the 52s is incredible. You brought up Noemi. Noemi at one point, two-time world champ, was the queen of the 52s, and there was like a gap between her and everyone else. She's not quite where she used to be, but she's still a lion. She's still there. But my goodness, of the other 52s of the world leveled up. From Plune, you had mentioned breaking that squat world record, and her total's flying. European champ. Canada's got one with Catherine Gagne. There's talent all over the place. How was it like in the warm-up room, the vibe? Did you guys know in the warm-up room that this one was going to be special? Did it feel a little different? I'll ask you first, Evie. You had said you were semi-prepping for a potential L. What did you feel there?
Actually, I think like the warm-up room was super chill this year. There's like a lot of space out back, and almost everyone had their own racks. They had 8 warm-up racks and 9 competitors. So I guess like we all had our own space. We're all just sort of doing our own things. I think it's generally the case in powerlifting, but maybe this weight class in particular as well. Like it's pretty it's pretty supportive. It's pretty like chill. Everyone was like just happy to be there and like I guess trying to push for their own best performance. Maybe that's just my observation. Maybe there's some animosity there that I don't know about. But
well, it's because it is sports. So at times, I use this Russell Orhe example. He says, if when everyone's in the warm-up room, if possible, and I think I have a bit of an intimidation factor, like for the platform, not like something physical altercation, but he's like, I will use it. For instance, you're kind of getting ready to do your squat, and I could see that. I'll walk between you and the squat rack. I won't stop you right as you're about to go, but maybe I do something like that. I don't know. Or maybe I use your chalk bowl and I'm over here. And you're like, why did he use my chalk bowl? And it's just enough to be like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you when I walked by or use your chalk bowl. But he's like, I'm getting you a little riled up. I'm getting you a little ruffled.
I don't think anyone's interested in psyching each other out. And I wonder if part of that was also because like we've all competed together quite a few times before. Like we know each other fairly well now. I feel like I just tend to be more friendly and supportive of one another than like targeting.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you think? It's no games like that in the back.
Yeah, I'm not into the games. Like I wouldn't go and walk in front of someone or get in their space. And no one did that either. It was really nice to have this much space. I don't think I've ever had that much space since maybe 2019 with the big warm-up room
That was huge in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, my
so
gosh.
this was amazing again. Like it feels good at Worlds being in your own space and you just feel like you're training alone. I don't really remember much of the warm-ups because I'm very blind, so I can't see, and I have my glasses off. And then I'm just like watching Taylor Swift the whole time, so I don't know what everyone else is doing, and maybe if they are like going, oh, I'm so cool, or chatting, I have no idea.
That does not sound like Evie. Oh, I'm so cool with her elbows up.
No,
Can you imagine?
Because Evie's and our like platforms she was squatting in front of me, like in her platform. So I think I saw you chatting to Rory and Jason, and that was the only thing I noticed of the whole session. Like, I am so in my own little zone, singing and stuff. So, yeah.
I feel like everyone kind of is. Like, we're all just focused on ourselves and, like, just trying to get in a good headspace. And I'm sorry, it's not a very exciting answer, but it's like, I guess maybe that's, like, the truth of how we all get to our own like best performance is actually just like very much just staying in our lanes and like focusing on ourselves.
Well, some people, 100%. I can tell you stories.
Well, this is 9 people, okay? The top 9 52s of the world.
Well, you can't speak for all 9, but
I can't, but I didn't see any funny business.
Fair enough.
At least not towards me. So.
Fair enough. Okay, squats begin. Ladies, walk me through your squats. Maybe we'll walk through yours first. How did you feel?
I felt good. Warm-ups were good. They looked normal. I think I was, going up for my first, I was like, I feel pretty good. But then I squatted so deep. Every single attempt, I was squatting deeper than what was expected or needed. So after the first, I was like, I can breathe now. Hopefully I'll start cutting them a little bit. We did the planned 5 kilo jump because New Zealand loves doing that 5 and then this tiny 2.5 or something. I don't know why. We've done it since like 2022 Commonwealths. We did the same sort of jumps and it's just always been like that. We opened quite high, I think. Maybe they trust our abilities, but...
I think I'm always hoping for more and then it doesn't happen.
It ends up being 2.5.
True. The plan is supposed to be 5 and then 5.
Yep.
But it's 5 and then 2.5. So after opener squat, I was like, sweet, I'm on the board. I can breathe. Then 172.5 for my second. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like this is hard, but I have grinded more. And it didn't move slower than what I did in the gym because I squatted 72.5 in the gym and then squatted 175.5. So I was like, I'm good for 176.5. It will be fine. Like I did walk off after my second and go to James, my coach, 175. And he said, 176 and a half, and I was like, what is a kilo and a half? It's not actually, I don't think I'm going to miss it. And then I did miss it, and it's strange because this is the second comp now in a row that I've missed my third attempt, both for the world record, so something's a bit iffy there. I need to try a bit harder. We know what I need to fix. I just need to like change some of my technique on that heavy stuff. But overall, like squats, they didn't go as planned in terms of like I was 2.5 kilos weaker than expected, but it's 2.5 kilos. You didn't really lose much on your total. I do know that I came third on like bronze, which was a bit different. Last year and the year before it was second, but and it was on body weight the other years, and this time I came third on body weight. So like Catherine actually was lighter than me, so she put me in the situation I was in the other years. But like overall, it's squats. You know, once you've got your opener, you're like, oh, whatever, you can do it. Yeah.
Missing that third, did that at all rattle you in terms of your ambitions or what you want to achieve?
Yeah, so we had a very set plan. Like we can talk about bench and deadlifts later, but missing that third squat, I always visualized for the past 8 months, I visualized 176 and a half. I knew that Plun would go 76 on her second. I knew that I wanted 76 and a half. I was hoping with lot number that I would be weirdly, but that you would be the lower lot number. So I could do 76 and a half, not 77, which doesn't do anything. So I visualized 76 and a half for 8 months now. I've squatted 75 and a half in the gym. It rattled me in the sense that I was like, far out again. But what I do now is I vent and I go rah, and then I go okay and listen to music and sing Taylor Swift, and then go, it's bench, it's chill. So that, I actually quite like the switch from squats to bench. Missing a squat feels good in a way, like compared to missing a bench. Because if you miss a squat, you're like, okay, I'm going to the chill section now. Whereas if you miss a bench, you like, that could carry over to deadlifts. So missing it was fine. Like it did kind of throw off my total. We had planned 481 and a half. And that 176 and a half we needed, because 481 is the world record. So we were like 176 and a half, 107, 197 gives you 481 and a half. Yeah.
It's tough because when you visualize or picture certain numbers for so long, like you said, if something deviates from the plan, you're like, holy smokes. For a minute there, this is like way back in the day, but Steffi Cohen was on the podcast. This is way back a hot minute ago, but she had bombed out, and she went to a sports psychologist actually, and the sports psychologist said, "Now walk me through your mental prep. What did you do for mental prep?" And she essentially said the same thing you said, which is the same thing that a lot of powerlifters do. Visualize hitting that for months. Visualize hitting that. What was that going to do? That was going to set me up for this bench, set me up for this dead, set me up for this total. And I'm hitting that number, and I'm telling myself, we got this. I'm writing it on the wall, trying to manifest that number, doing all those things for that particular number. And then the sports psychologist was like, did you prep at all for the fact that you might not hit that?
Yeah, so that's where it's a little bit. I do prep for that though. I have learned to compartmentalize that because I know that I do not want it to affect the rest of my day. So failing like that is fine. I just have to go fire out and I think I get like a bit snappy, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just have some food, and then I'll be fine. So it's usually about like 2 minutes of venting after a missed lift, and then I can move on. But I think it comes from experience, like people miss in the gym and things, and you kind of learn how you're going to handle it. So I think if I was to miss it, it's like fine because of practice. Practiced missing.
Yeah, well, like experience, if anything else, your experience at this level, you've from juniors into the open, you've done this enough times, so you know, like, look, I can be upset missing because I wasn't the plan. I had goals. On the flip side, you could turn it around relatively quickly and be like, the game is still on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and I don't want it to affect the rest of the day. I think that's where you just kind of shoot yourself in the foot more if you carried on going on and on and on. So you just have to move on, and then you can feel those feelings later. You know, in 3 hours time, go have a cry if you need to, or like then go and watch the video and be like, oh, this is why I missed. But yeah, it's not worth feeling those negative thoughts while you're still in the game. It doesn't, yes, your plan has changed, but it should be a changeable plan anyway. Like, there needs to be some adjustments on the day. It's never going to go completely to plan. So just leave it.
Yeah, you've got to like remember that you're still in the game and you still have work to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you can feel this for this much time, and then like you need to get back onto it because we're not done here yet.
So how about your squats? Walk us through your squat experience.
I had a really good squat prep. I squatted 170 on my last singles day, and like comfortably, like I was really happy with it. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm good for 175. I did do 175 before Sheffield, but it was grindy. I was like, oh, it'll be all good. I'll squat 175 at Sheffield. I did not. And the plan for this comp was 162.5, 170, 175. We went 162.5, 167.5, failed 170. So, yeah, when I was warming up, my last warm up was pretty janky. Like, I did it, and then I turned to my coach, Jason, and I was like, what did you think about that? That felt kind of hard to me. And he's like, no, it's all good.
When their voice gets high, no. It's like, why'd your voice so high then?
He was like, we're not going to drop it. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, he's confident in me. It's all good. And then I went out and did my opener, came back off. I was like, yeah, that was kind of hard. So yeah, this strength just wasn't there. Like I just hit the bottom of the hole and was like, oh, my legs are not strong today. I just like can't push. So, and again, like that could be a weight cut thing because squats being the first lift, you haven't had as long to recover. And I did seem to get better as the day went on. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I don't think I've failed a squat in a while. I couldn't tell you when, but I kind of knew like after 167.5 and like he put in I was always going to give it a crack, but went out there and I was like, pretty sure I'm not going to get this.
Oh, jeez. That's a horrible feeling.
It is, but like you just kind of have to like get up for it. And I don't think I did anything wrong, which is also like I guess a positive for me because I used to get really, really nervous for squats and just kind of like cake it. Like I'd just do something real weird. I used to squat really deep when I was nervous and it would be way harder than it should have been. But the last one, I think like I actually executed the descent properly. Obviously I didn't get back up with it, but I didn't feel like I'd done something wrong. I just wasn't strong enough. So I don't know, like do with that what you will. Like, is that a good thing? But yeah, I was really disappointed when I came off. And at that point I was like, shit, is this the like setting the tone for the rest of the day? Like, is this where my strength is at today? Like, because if it is, then like, oh, this is not going to go well. And that was when I was like, maybe I'll just leave. Like, I don't know. Like, my confidence was really knocked. Yeah, I just didn't feel like I was going to be able to come back from that, particularly if like that was indicative of where my strength levels were at for bench and deadlift as well. But yeah, I was sulking a bit, and Jason, my coach, just said to me, he was like, look, other people didn't have the best squat event either, and I think what's going to matter most is who can come back from it the fastest. He was like, you need to just snap out of it, and like you can feel your feelings for a couple of minutes, but then we need to start warming up for bench, and like whoever can turn it around, like that's where it's going to count.
And the best part of it was you both turned it around pretty fast, which made it special. It's like, oh shit, okay, well she turned it around pretty quick as well. The game is still back on though. You would have seen her fail her squat. Did you see her fail her squat?
No, sorry.
Oh wow.
I did watch the comp after, like at the end of the night. So yeah, I did see it, but no, I didn't know that Evie failed. Yeah.
Even after you failed yours, did your coach tell you to alleviate some of the pressure? Be like, don't worry, like Jason did for her, to be like, you're both still on even ground. You got 2 win, which does help pressure wise to know, okay, you're not behind.
I think James might have said that Evie failed her third as well to make me breathe, but I don't know what she ended on, so I didn't know how close she was. You know, she could have squatted 75. Like, I didn't know, because I didn't want to know the numbers. So I was like, okay, she's failed her third, same as me, but is she still ahead or not?
Yeah. I also like didn't watch anyone else's squats, so like I didn't know like where we were at.
Did you know that Megan lost or failed her third?
Only when I was sulking and Jason was like trying to pull me out of it, and he was like, yeah, like it didn't go to plan for Megan either, and I was like,
That's
okay,
exactly what James said.
Yeah.
He was like, you guys both failed. It's fine. It's like you both got it, you know.
Can you imagine? You both look at each other across the room. You're like, okay. You kind of can like, fair enough, huh? Fair enough. Let's pick it up. Let's pick it back up then. I mean,
we'll meet in the bench.
That's right. That's right. Let's resume the duel in the bench press. Speaking of the bench press, your bench, holy smokes, you've done a lot of work on this. What were you doing to increase your bench press?
I do a lot of volume. I recover really quickly, so I do like more volume than what a normal person would do within a week. I do that in a day, and the quality stays really high, because obviously that's what would make you decide not to do that much volume, would be, is the quality declining, or are you not recovering? But I am recovering. My reps stay very consistent. I've also changed my mindset with bench. I was like, why can't I bench the world record one day? Why can't I bench 120? Like, that would be so cool. But yeah, my bench has grown a lot from failing 82.5 in 2022 as like my first 52 worlds to now 107. It was just like the switch, the mental switch. Also, I actually am very thankful for the rule change, weirdly. It forced me to increase my range of motion, which actually forced me to grow more muscle. And then the last thing that's helped with my bench is a very stable body weight. I used to still, like, say I benched 100 in training, I would bench like 95 or 92 on the platform. I now sit at like 52.5, sometimes 50, like below 52. So I have a very stable body weight, and that's helped my bench the most.
What was your previous PR coming in? I had all the data in front of me before.
It was 102.5 from Commonwealth last year, so I opened on that.
Yeah, okay, because I remember in the commentary, I mean, we did all the scouting for the preview show, and I was able to bring it with me. And when I remember seeing, like, oh my gosh, like she must have had a fan. You didn't post a lot of your training, but I did see some bench press with some heavy numbers, and I was like, holy smokes, this is a big opener for you. And you ended off with what again? Sorry,
107.5.
So
same as Evie.
5 kilos. It's a lot for 52 bench press improvement. Like, that's 5 kilos on a total's nice, let alone just the bench press event, let alone in the 52s. Like, that is a resounding increase.
Yeah, I think it is just a lot of volume, and then the stable body weight has made the biggest difference, and the mindset. I also really enjoy bench now. I know that we shouldn't say, oh, we hate this lift because it makes it worse. Like, we just don't look forward to it in training. But there is no pressure with bench. It's, yeah, you can hit 105 or 107. Like, you don't really have very many, like, increments that you can do. So you're like, whatever. Like, if you miss your third attempt, it's fine. I just like bench now, and so progress is easier.
You're right, the swing between, like, the top end 105 or you jump up to 107.5 is like, you're right, like, whatever. Whereas like a squat or a deadlift, the swing between the second last and the last might be like 10 kilos or whatever. And you're like, shit. Like that's quite a bit below what I was expecting. It is probably easier to fluff off. But after the bench, like during the bench press, obviously you felt extremely strong. When it was all said and done, how were you feeling when the bench press concluded?
I actually didn't feel strong.
Really?
No. When I was unracking it, so switching from the ATX to the squishy Alico, I love the squishy Alico. I think we all do. Like the 52s do, because we're light. But and so we finally squish into a bench, so it feels nice. But switching from a rock hard bench to a squishy one, my technique felt off when I put my bum down. When they released it. They released it fine, they handed out fine. It was more that I just felt so much weight transfer down the bench, and I was like, this is not good. But when I got the start call, I was like, okay, I know I can bench 102. I've tripled this. It's fine. But with each one, I was like, well, we're not jumping 107. We have to go 105, because we had that potential is if it's really good, we could jump 5. So no, I didn't feel very strong on bench. I just felt like, well, you've got to grind it out. I had a grindy final bench session of the prep, so I was like, I know I can push through 107. If it's grindy, it's grindy, and this is a cool PB, so just do it. But I was very happy afterwards. I have lots of yellies, yell photos, because I have never won an open bench medal. So I've always been 5th or 4th. It was my weakness. So to get gold, James did say to me, 107 is gold. So I was like, oh, cool, okay.
That's huge for never having won a medal to gold. It's a huge
It's on
improvement.
body weight though, so.
Hey, okay, wow. All right.
It doesn't really.
Yeah, all right. Anyways, let me ask you, okay, first off, I think any meet director should have the same equipment in the warm-up room as they got on the platform, so that doesn't happen to people. That was a discussion, not just yourself bringing that up online. I saw it and 100% co-sign that. And I hope that should be something moving forward so people don't get disrupted and it feels the same. There's a flow like that. It behooves everybody viewing and everybody around. But how was your bench press?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had a bit of a shoulder injury after Sheffield, so I was in tempo jail for a while with 50 kilos, doing 10 reps of tempo. But it actually came back surprisingly well, and I was able to bench 110 in my prep. So I was just super relieved about that, and so I was hoping for 110 on the day, but I was it wasn't that likely. And then I opened on 102, and we decided to take the 2.5 kilo jumps there. So finished on 107, same as Megan. But not much progress there because I benched 107 at last year's Worlds. So, but at least I got it this time, whereas I failed it twice at Sheffield. So
after bench is done, you guys have both failed a squat, but are you and you went 3 for 3 on bench. Are you feeling better? Are you feeling vulnerable? How are you feeling?
I love bench. And so I was in a pretty good mood, and I'd managed to get myself into a more positive headspace during bench as well. So I was just I was feeling pretty good, and still a little bit of apprehension because I was like, oh well, our deadlift's going to be there, because that was also where I struggled at Sheffield. My deadlifts just sort of didn't show up. So I felt a little bit nervousness about that.
What did you pull at Sheffield again?
I can't remember.
Ramsey.
It was
Don't let her off the hook.
202 maybe, or
that makes the story so much better if it's 202.
Definitely less than
That you had to.
202.
Thank you, young Jamie.
I failed my third, but I think even 202 on my second at Sheffield was quite hard.
So this is all right. This is setting up perfectly. Thank you. But okay, so you're rebounding, you're feeling better, but did you see how much she bench pressed? And were you expecting her bench? You didn't see? Okay. Because if you had seen, I know as a viewer, so coming into this, I knew you had to pick up some kilos to catch up to hers in terms of total, and you're wondering where the kilo's going to come from. And 5 on bench might have been unforeseen for a lot of people when you're talking about the 52s. bench press comes around, and it's like, holy smoke, she picked up 5 in bench press. That's big. That'll start covering some gaps pretty quick. But you were unaware of that, I guess?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that we'd bench the same until we were getting the medals. That was just like I was like, oh wow. It's like her bench has come up a lot. She just bench gold.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, so last year I benched 97.5. So I thought 5 kilos was decent because I got 5 kilos at Commonwealth, like 5 kilo PB, and then another 5 kilo PB. So I think Jason would have expected that though.
Oh, Jason would have known.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm just
It's
like
tough
Evie
though. You
was
don't
clueless.
you don't
Evie didn't
post a
have to
lot
stress.
though. It would.
Yeah.
Like that like when I was looking on, I saw some bench though. I knew your bench was moving, but it was hard to tell where it would be. Like 10 kilos in a year is crazy. That's a really big improvement for a 52.
Yeah, it is the volume. No, I don't post just because of the pressure. And also it is the only like tactical advantage I have is to, well, like if I was going to have an advantage, it would be to not post because I don't have a lot of other cards to play. Like Evie is outright stronger at the moment, and so my progression is my only like strength in my eyes. And so yeah, I'm not gonna go and boast or like post it that I benched 107 in the gym. And also when I used to, share all my wins, I ended up not doing that on the platform. So it was like, I would rather just have this internal pressure. I don't need anyone knowing what I'm doing. But I think Jason would have expected about a 5 or a 2.5 kilo progression from Commonwealth. So he wouldn't have been surprised. And Evie, she's just in her own zone. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're not.
I think both of us like knew coming in that like you're definitely progressing faster than me. So we're like under no illusions that that you would be bringing more kilos.
I know what I expected you to total. So
Really, what did you expect her to total?
I have thought because I watch her progression, obviously her comps. I love data, so does my coach. So we look at all the 52s and like what they're up to. We watch their comps. So with Evie, I would have expected like 490 to 492 at Sheffield. And then because she didn't total that at Sheffield, I thought Worlds is her redemption. So she will get that at Worlds.
I thought that too.
He's like,
Yeah, I thought
I thought that too.
Heartbroken.
Wow.
well, she's got World Games now, so I'll expect it for World Games.
That's right. That's right. It's going to keep carrying over.
No pressure.
But, okay, so deadlifts. Holy freaking moly, the dramatic conclusion. This thing was boiling and eventually boiled over. And the deadlifts produced a magical moment. Once the bar hit the ground and you guys started deadlifting, how did you feel? You must have felt good. You said you weren't fully aware where you were at until your third pull, but how did the first 2 pulls feel?
They felt good. Warm-ups were good, so then I was like, okay, sweet. I do know that I have to get through my opener deadlift because I have missed like 5 deadlifts in a row in the past until I worked with a sports psych. So once I get my opener deadlift, I'm like, oh, sweet. But actually, when I watched because I need visual feedback sometimes, so I watched my opener deadlift and I was like, oh, the speed is fine. But as soon as I walked off the platform, I was like, we're good for 192, James, go to that. And he was like, yes, okay. Because I say what I think and he will say what he thinks. And then obviously we go with what he thinks. But my first impression will always compare it to his. So yeah, after opener deadlift, I was like, okay, I'm strong. And then 192, I was like, ugh, that was not good. I was like, if it had been 195, I think I would have probably like ramped it or something. So then I was like, okay, just a small 5 kilo jump. And then, yeah, I was obviously very happy with the third deadlift because it pushed me in front for the first time and because it made Evie have to pull. And I'm so close to it was like my top end, like very close to what I thought I was capable of, like overall on my total. So I think that's why I yelled. Yeah.
It was amazing. So you saw a sports psychologist about the first one. Tell me about that, because I love hearing about people using sports psychologists to help with these?
Yeah, so I used to miss, I don't know, it was all of 2022, every comp. And then I'd have to take like a massive 15 kilo jump. But sometimes it would pay off, sometimes it wouldn't. You know, when you're pulling like 170 to jump to 185, it's not decent. Like, it's not great. So after missing like 5 deadlifts in a row or something, some of them were gym comps, but I went to a sports psych. And then we just talked about visualization and my approach. So I think that's where my mental strength has come from. I have like power words. I don't know if other people have those. But I just talk to myself a lot. You'll see I stand there and I stare a lot before I deadlift. And that's because I know exactly where I'm going to look on the platform. I've gone and checked it out before comp. And then I just talk to myself and I'm like, you can do this and you have earned this and there is no reason why you shouldn't pull this really. Like you've practiced this thousands of times. You've lifted enough times to know what to do. So yeah, the sports psych has helped a lot and I've carried it over to other parts of my training and my life. So I can see it, in other aspects, which is great.
I remember reading an article about, I won't divert too long, don't worry, but about sports psychology, and a sports psychologist was talking to a bunch of athletes saying, real quick, let me just show you how this works, mind and body. And they said, I want you all to close your eyes. And he started describing, I think it was a lemon or something. He's describing the contours of it in great detail. So they could picture it. Their eyes are closed and they could picture it. Now I'm going to start cutting through this lemon with a knife. And I want you to picture this. And he's walking through it, painstaking details. So you picture every piece of it. And I said, now how many of your mouths are watering? And they opened their eyes and all their hands were raised. That is a physical response to a mental image. Yes, it works. Yes, this kind of, I can elicit mental responses. And you said the words, whether you term it power words, etc. The Russian Olympic team initially in sports like wrestling, etc., when there was fatigue setting in, you feel like you're going to quit. You feel like in the moment after the squats, you were saying certain key words, and it's not just the word, but the word reminds you of either why you're here or reminds you of strength, reminds you of something to bring your mind back to focus. For all of us, we have certain keys where it gives you a source. So anyways, these tactics work. And at the top end level, people use it. So when powerlifters start using these, I'm very intrigued. And a lot of the stuff you just described is very common to what I've read as well.
Yeah, I think it's unlocked something. I think, because I see it a lot in other lifters, is that their mind will hold them back. And my mind was holding me back for years with all my lifts, maybe not squats, but with bench and deadlifts. And so that's been the switch I needed, a very calm approach, but then I have internal stress, I guess, and internal hype, but externally a calm approach has helped me focus my mind to then get through those lifts, because I am a very anxious person, so the sports psych has been like invaluable.
And when you hit that third deadlift and they told you and you're coming out for it, how did you feel then?
Before or after?
Let's say before, and then we'll talk about after, because my God, was that a moment. And when you let out that cry, by the way, it was amazing.
So before I was like, oh, this is what you wanted. You wanted green plates on the bar. Like, you wanted to pull 195 plus, like anything in that range was what I wanted. So I was like, I have earned this. I always part of the talking to myself. So I know I've earned this and I'm here and this is what I wanted, was to pull for the win. I have never been in this situation. And then obviously during the lift, I'm like, just don't give up. Do not drop it. Just my brain's really like it thinks in slow mo during that, so I can feel every single thing. Like I can feel my glutes, I can feel my quads. So yeah, I was like, just do not stop pulling. And then at the top, I was like, holy shit, I actually locked it out. Whoa. So yes, the yell is how I feel a lot of the time when I'm thinking about my lifting and training, but I usually keep it quite internal. I've always been conscious of how it's perceived, the aggression, but I do have a lot of competitive aggression, and so yeah, I just let it out for once.
It probably feels good to have all that and to just, and the crowd's reciprocating, yelling back, and it's like a freaking, oh my
yeah, it
God
does
moment.
help that there's like people yelling back at you.
Yeah,
and
you're
I
not
can
like in
hear-
a quiet room doing it. That's
yeah, and I can hear my coach yelling at me, and I think that helps a lot. It's probably just like a response to everyone yelling as well.
And when you described how you started pulling, even though it only lasts relatively short period of time, but for you it slows down. Again, that is an evolutionary thing. If you're in a car crash or whatever, in heightened anxiety and adrenaline secretion, you could actually break it down. Your body starts processing things in frames. It can really slow down. So that is entirely normal as well. Where like that pull where you're like, oh my God, I have an inner dialogue. How long is this final pull taking? And it feels a lot longer.
Yeah, it feels like insane. It's the same with the squat. I thought I grinded a lot more because, time is slowed down. And then you watch it back, you're like, oh, it wasn't actually that. You really didn't try. So yeah, I love that slow-mo part of the lifting. I love that high pressure because I don't get that in training. You don't have the adrenaline, so then nothing really slows down as much, and it just feels like a normal day. So you only really get that on comp day, which is something nice to appreciate.
Well, that's why athletes, you can get addicted to the moment, and some athletes later on like find it hard to leave a sport. And when they leave the sport, finding something that gives them what the sport gave them. Because you, in your day-to-day life, may never, unless you get in a car accident, feel that level of adrenaline, a crowd of people yelling at you, you're yelling back, everyone's cheering, and literally everything is slowed down like a freaking movie. And when you describe it to people, they're like, it's got to be exaggerated. No, that's the way it happened for me. And to close the door on all that and go back to normal life, it's fine. There's a lot of things life can offer you, but it won't offer you that. Like, you will close the door on that. Some people will never feel that. So I know what you mean. And how are you going to replicate that in the gym?
It's just never the same. Yeah, so that is the positive of comp is the adrenaline rush, which you just won't get in training. But I do still prefer training, I'll tell you that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. If I couldn't compete, I would still show up to the gym every day and try and plod along. I love the mundane. I love structure. So training is my happy place. Comp is just the time where you compare yourself to others, which is usually something we try and avoid. Well, I do. Try not to compare too much because it makes you sad. So yeah, comp is the one time where I would compare myself, and training is much, much more pleasant.
How about yourself with deadlifts? Are you aware going into deadlifts at that point or any point before the final pull? Obviously they told you, but how close it is, what's unraveling, and how the story's going?
Well, yeah, I thought I was in second.
The whole time?
Apparently I just created that story in my head. I thought I saw it, but obviously not. So who knows? So yeah, I just was like, okay, maybe that's what's happening, and that's all good. I'm just gonna have to, it doesn't change anything. I still have to do the best that I can do. So that was basically what I was thinking. I was like, we're just gonna go out there and pull it and see how it feels. And deadlifts have been moving a lot better this prep versus going into Sheffield. So I was like, it should be good. My opener moved quite comfortably. I was pretty happy with that, and I came off and I was like, it was good, right? And Jason's like, yeah, it was good. Okay,
yeah,
sweet.
You want to hear how high? Yeah, it's good. Hear how his voice was.
No, so that it moved comfortably, and then I think we did 200 for my second, and I was like, yeah, sweet. That feels good. I've got room in the tank. I don't know if he actually told me. I think I deduced that I would be pulling for the win.
I asked you if you seen her Megan's last poll and you said, "I didn't see it, I heard it."
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was, I think
I,
neighbors down the street like, the fuck is that? Like,
Because I think I was like maybe the next out, or maybe it was two lifters. I can't remember exactly, but I was like right there in the waiting area, and I should really get noise cancelling headphones, but I don't.
Wouldn't have helped.
That was one of the lessons I learned. This comp is noise cancelling headphones are my new best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It
Yeah.
made me so much more calm.
Yeah, because I was listening to music, which is I don't often do. Like it's not that common for me, but like I was struggling a little bit with kind of getting my energy up. So I chose to listen to some music this time. But yeah, I could still hear the cheering, and I could hear Joe announcing as well. Because I also don't know usually like I don't have any say in the attempt selection. I just let Jason put on whatever he thinks is good. And so I could hear Joe announcing like what the weight was, and and when I saw that I was going out for 205, I was like, oh yeah, I can pull 205. Like I've pulled more than this before, and I just did 200. Like it's only a 5 kilo jump, so I felt pretty confident, even though I was like pulling for the win. And like I feel like maybe in previous years that would have psyched me out more, but I felt pretty good about it, and I think the only thing that was in the back of my mind was like, just don't mess it up. You know, like don't do something stupid now, like miss a call or.
I thought you would be good with the pressure because in my mind, you've pulled for the win at Sheffield. Like you're just ahead, but you're pulling under way more pressure. So for me, I thought you would have a lot of experience with that, and I expected you to get your third.
Yeah, I feel like Sheffield is quite different because it's not often a head-to-head battle, and it's hard to know what other people, like where you're kind of ranked against other people. And I guess like knowing that I was following you, and like I had to get that lift in order to win, it was kind of a different situation for me.
100%. I could, as a viewer, there's nothing like a head-to-head in the same body weight or the same weight class. There's nothing quite like that. Sheffield, I love Sheffield. And then World Games going to be a stitch different. We'll talk about the future in a second here. But even though it's weight classes, if someone weighs a little bit less, they could conceivably have a slightly lower total, higher IPF points and win. So it's a little bit different, but there's nothing quite like take the formulas out, take everything out, and we know straight up kilos. You load exactly what you want. It's a head-to-head. That's why this situation was good. And I do like the fact that at Sheffield, you left with 202.5 and you needed more, even though, in the back of your mind, like I should have this, and fair enough, but it was still an ask. You still got pressed. And in terms of the Battle of 52s, this is one of the best I've seen. I've been doing this for a long time now. So all that being said, what does the future look like for both of you ladies and some of the goals both of you ladies have? I'll start with yourself.
Okay, so we've got World Games in 10 weeks. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're going to run it back in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Does that seem crazy that it was only 48 hours ago how much drama we had?
Such a fast turnaround. So we'll be doing that, and we'll see what that looks like. Obviously, it's a different format, so it's not even going to be based on our totals. And we've got other competitors. My goal with that, I don't know if you want to know my goals.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, because obviously the podium is what qualified for World Games. So my goal is just to be above average out of the 8 of us or whatever that are there. So beat the second place 47.
Okay.
That's turbo.
No.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So just
Although
be,
you got higher points than me this time.
I think that was...
Is that right?
It was
Yeah.
lucky. No, it was full luck though. Like when you work...
Because she was lighter than me.
Oh,
So
see?
her points are higher.
You see how this World Games is going to be different?
yeah. So that's a different format. But yeah, my goal for World Games is just to be above average because it is the best of the best, like in our lighter weight classes. And then we have nationals. I don't know if you're doing it. I'm doing it. I think at this point we're trying to take it comp at a time. To have like 4 comps in 6 months I've never done that. I'm not looking forward to it. So we'll take some easier so that I can look forward to them all. So Nationals after World Games, and then Oceanias, which is my last international of the year. It's equivalent, like, as Europeans would. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm familiar. That's a lot, first off. And also, I hope you guys don't clash too many times because you want to save some of these. But how weird would it be if you're like, my goal for World Games is to do the exact same as this, total less, but beat her on IPF points. I'm like, that would be ironic, weird.
Yeah. Well, talking about how light I weighed in, I think my coach, James, is going to go and work out, like, if I could cut and how much what I would get. I'm not a fan of cutting. I prefer being heavy and eating. But James is obviously like, oh, you ate 3,000 calories the day before comp. You can cut, like.
That's freaking. I eat 2,400. I'm jealous.
Yeah, my metabolism's just got really good this year. Like, before it was 2,000 ish, maybe 1,700. But with World Games, it will just be go above average, so that you feel like you deserve to be there. And then we don't usually compete against each other at nationals because Evie does 57s, but maybe she'll do 52s.
Nah, save it. Don't do it too often.
And
Not a chance.
That's right.
okay. But yeah, I guess we'll save the battles for internationals then.
Yeah. How about yourself? Future goals? What are you thinking? You kind of touched on this, how you see the end coming for 52s, that you're probably sort of processing this all right now. So, but I guess World Games, see what it looks like, and then take it from there?
Pretty much. Like, ever since I cut to 52, our approach has been just one comp at a time. Like, see how it goes, reflect on how the cut was, how the training was, how did the performance stack up, and then sort of reevaluate if it's worthwhile me staying in 52s. So we haven't done that whole reflection yet. So it remains to be seen. I mean, I have to do 52s for World Games anyway, so that's pretty much locked in. But yeah, I think the end is nigh for 52.
End is nigh. Well, here's an interesting one. Sarah Naldi, recent 57 kilo world champion, at least now, things could change, but planning on doing Sheffield as a 57, Worlds, deciding whether or not she wants 52 or 57, but if all goes well, a Sheffield 52, and she'll be entering into the 52s. She just needs to check some boxes at 57 because she said the cut itself, she does no water cut. It's straight body weight, and she had breakfast, she had lunch, she walked in there, weighed in with no sweating, spitting, or anything like that. Any water manipulation whatsoever. And she's starting to think, wow, could I get a stitch leaner? What does that look like? How close could I get to 52, then do the gut cut, water manipulation, etc.? It's tough, but could I do this? And she's kicking this around.
That makes me feel kind of good because if Evie does leave, then at least he'll be someone like that I have to chase, and that makes me try harder. So.
I mean, she just did so well in the 57s.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, do like a victory lap first.
You guys are gonna shake hands, passing each other in the hall almost.
Well, that's fine by me.
Yeah, that's true.
See you later.
yeah, that's true too. Only time will tell. Well, listen, ladies, thank you very much for doing this podcast. I know it's not easy. You guys are tired. You're probably difficult sleeping. I know I'm freaking tired. I have a difficult time sleeping. It's exciting. There's a lot of things going around, but I appreciate you guys taking time out. Let's keep in touch. I think I speak for everybody, the entire powerlifting community. That was phenomenal. Can't wait to see it again when you guys run it back. And I don't know. We'll see what the future holds for both of you. Congratulations. And for everybody watching, please do check the Instagram White Lights. They have the schedule. We have a ton of these scheduled, 13. I don't even know what number we're on so far. But as per usual, please do like, subscribe, and until next time, Six Pack Lapadat, 6 up, and we are out.